Right, hello fellow Seawolves. Just wanted to give you a small update on the two races that are already started, and then I'll have a look into the Vela that will be starting about 3 hours from now. Now, in the Tara, where I am at the moment, yes, it's been a tedious race so far, where we have been fighting and battling our way out of the bay and now are heading out to open waters. But first of all, we will close in on the coast up here. I've just roughly laid out the route that I will be choosing. What I'd like to show you here is an example of how things can go wrong. Now, in this area here, you see my course line, and you see the way I suddenly turn up north and then change my mind quickly and head back out west again. That was because last night I actually fell asleep and I had the old routing from the old weather still up, and I was supposed to do a jibe right there according to the old weather, but with the new weather it was terrible actually. As you can see on the angles, basically it was an absolute waste of time going up there. If I would have just stayed straight ahead, I would have saved probably about 2 nautic miles. This has caused me to drop out of the top 100. Hopefully I'll be able to regain it back again. I'm just battling back into the top 100 at the moment. I don't know how successful that is going to be, but we will see. Yeah, it's all about the wind changes in this race at the moment. If you look here, this is the wind for the moment. I'll just simplify things by taking some of the boats out, just to have our team. Right, there we go. And what you will see here is that the procedure of the wind, when I take it further in time, this is in 4 hours time, it's still coming further out of the western, southwesterly direction. And then in 6 hours time, it turns further south, meaning that we will have to then jibe across. And that happens again. This is in 6 hours, then 9 hours time. You see the wind increases again, but stays more southerly. In 12 hours, you can already see that it is turning back towards east. And in 24 hours, it is back to where it was just about now. And that's why we, in approximately 13 hours, do turn north again. And this just happens continuously. Here you see it very distinctly already on the course line here, the way I have to veer away as the wind changes there. We take it a bit longer because we want to get a bit further into the stronger wind. And then you see when I change the wind from 24 hours to 36 hours, you see the way it veers around again towards the south. That is why we have to jibe across. Then the same happens here just before we get into the 48th hour. Again, the wind is turning from south or more southerly to more easterly at about 40 hours from now, or probably 42, 43 hours from now. There you see it, and of course it decreases again. It's only a small tack up north because then the wind veers back southerly again, and that's when we head out to open waters for quite a bit before we start tacking up north again. Yeah, well, that's what this race is all about, is looking for the wind changes, just changing your course and jibing appropriately in exactly the right moment. And the timing on that is the art of things at the moment. And also checking and seeing how to get into the center angle of these wind changes. Then you would adjust your course and be going more towards the VMG, or slightly above it, or sometimes heading much lower, only doing, you know, 35 to 135 to 140 degrees to the wind. But yeah, that's that. Okay, well, that's enough of the Tara. Now we can go and catch up with the TransD, where we're heading south toward Lisboa. Now, the wind conditions have changed quite a bit there. 2 days ago, we were not getting that close to the coast and having to jibe out approximately 50 miles off the coast and then heading south again. Then yesterday evening, the course was hugging the coast near to Lisboa. But actually, it actually was suggesting to take a jibe into the Bay of Lisboa for a bit and then heading south and cutting very close to the southern peninsula of Portugal here, and then only then moving out into open waters. Now, at the moment, things have changed, as I said, slightly. We're heading down here. At the moment, I'm doing a course 174 cog. That is a TVA of 50 at the moment. And we're edging our way in slowly, not too quickly, because the better wind is further out. And then we head in, I don't know what it's called, there's a small island off Portugal here, and this peninsula. And we cut in quite close there, because if I go to the weather condition at that time, you will see that the wind close to the coast is much stronger than further out. That's why it is quite advisable to head in as far as possible here. This is only roughly routed so far. I will plot this course a bit further into the coastline later, as long as the wind conditions stay the way they are. And here you can see it quite drastically when we get to about, that must be, I'd say 22 hours from now. There we got 10.2 knots of wind up close to the coast, and if we go out here, we're already down to 9.6. Same goes here, where we're just off the Cape in front of Lisboa. You got 10.8 close to the coast, and only 10 just a few miles out. Yeah, but once we get around the corner, we head south. I've got a course laid out there of a TVA of 38 to begin with. Then we open it up a bit further so that we're on, I think that's about 42 there. I can have a look. Wait a minute, where are we? Right, here we are. Yeah, 41, 42 degrees, 104, that's 141, 142. And then we open up even further when we get to about 48 hours. We take it to, in this case, I've got it down, which is virtually the VMG at 149. Then tacking down south towards the African coast at about 10 o'clock in just over 48 hours, so 52 hours or something like that from now, and heading in on a rather shallow course, not full VMG here. I've got it at 142 because I want to get into this area here and get the turning wind, get the center fold of the turning wind here around the coast, so that I can take full advantage of that, heading then into, I mean, actually here what you could do is, if you'll see the way the angle going out improves if I take it an hour further in there, but that would take us too far south. That's why I've got it where it is at the moment. Here then we'll be leaving the first waypoint that we have to get around far to our starboard side, because we will not be heading north or directly west. We will continue on a southwesterly course. That's why we cut through these islands here. I can't remember the names. I can't be bothered to look up which one is which. I always get them confused. Anyway, we head off through here and then into the open Atlantic, taking a more southerly route than was suggested a few days ago. Here you also have to watch it. I don't know what time you'll be coming through here. In 4 days' time, that is when we should actually be in the midst of the Canaries. But if you have a look at the wind around here, around the 4-day mark, 1 day later, things get very much more complicated, and there are a hell of a lot of weird wind. Yeah, what do you call them? Turbulence would be the turbulences, yeah, probably. Anyway, that's that. That gives you a roundup of what is happening in the TransD. And then as the last thing, I'll just quickly have a look into the Vela. At the moment, I've only provisionally laid out a course there. If you go into the Vela, which is also a very interesting race, it's going to be in a certain way, at least while we're in the Mediterranean, similar to the Baltic Sea, except for that we don't have those zillions and zillions of islands. But where the similarity lies in that the wind changes, not only direction but also strength, can change extremely quickly in the Mediterranean, which we will also immediately experience right at the beginning of the race. Now, we have to be tacking up hard into the wind to begin with. This is the wind that we will have in 3 hours. Please do remember, when you set out a bit of plotting your course for the start that then is only in 3 hours, remember that the course line that is shown is according to the wind that is actually at the moment, and not to the wind that is in 3 hours. So basically what is showing me at the moment is the way the boat would sail if I would leave port now, not the way it would sail in 3 hours. So what you have to do there is check the wind directions. Here we go, wait a minute, there you are. Here, and then lay out your course according to that, with what we are going to be aiming for here is best VMG, because we want to get up and out of here as quickly as possible. Now the best VMG, at least according to the inbuilt polars, is at 47 if we're going upwind and 140 downwind, but actually the boat can do quite a bit more than that, because with the wind that's indicated at the moment, that would be 214 degrees that the wind is coming from, so we'd have to take the 47 minus and plus, so the 214 plus 47 equals about 251 degrees. That is if we're going out on starboard bow, and then it would be the 240 minus 47, which is then 163 degrees. Now, if you have a look at the course that I've laid out at the moment, that would be the second there. I've got 255, and here I'm heading out at the moment at 176, which would actually then be a TVA in 3 hours of well, about 37 to 40. Yeah, which is a bit too hard. Probably we'll have to take that further down. As I said, it should actually be around 168, more like that. But here again, don't let yourself be misled by the course that it shows me now, because that is again according to this wind that is there at the moment. In the hours, the whole thing will look different because the wind will have come around quite a bit. Okay, right, so what we then have to do in this race is battle our way all the way over to Gibraltar. And what you will see if you follow the wind development over the next 24 hours, yeah, it does increase. We get the wind funneling in. It's a southerly wind. Well, once we get alongside Corsica, which then the locals would call a scirocco, being the southern wind coming up from the Sahara. And now we go up to about 9 hours, and here you can see the way the wind is changing. You've still got the scirocco blowing up the coast, the western coast of Sardinia and Corsica, but what you're also getting is the beginning of the Mistral building up. Now it's slowly developing, and the Mistral, I can show you there in 36 hours, a brilliant picture of what the Mistral looks like, which is wind that gathers over central France, frequently pressed by whatever is happening out in the Bay of Biscay. And then it funnels down the Rhône Valley and then sprays out over the Camargue into the Mediterranean Sea, which you can see here very, very nicely in 36 hours. Problem is that in 36 hours, we are going to be way past that. So the problem we're going to have is that we're going to be heading into this area towards Mallorca and Minorca in this very variable changing wind. So that is going to be quite tricky to find a good passage through there. And this is where some of us will win a lot or lose a lot. It's very, very difficult to plan it ahead because it will be continuously changing. Hopefully, perhaps, because we'll have weather updates until we get there. How many will we have? At least 3. Things may change, and the Mistral will have developed faster, which would really, really be good for us, because that will carry us past Mallorca, Minorca, and up here into the canal, into the Alboran Sea, towards Gibraltar. Yeah, and here, as frequently, we will have a downwind situation. In 36 hours, wait a minute there, you still got a headwind, but by the time we get there in 48 hours, we will be traveling on this nice northeasterly wind coming in, and then it should actually carry us. I don't think we're going to overtake it so that we get on into the headwind. We will actually travel on it all the way through Gibraltar, and then coming out the other side into the Atlantic, you'll see that we actually have very, very nice wind for the passage out to Madeira. Then passage back from Madeira stays the same, very nice wind. Yes, it'll be more head-on than on the way there, but still it's of a decent strength. Coming back through Gibraltar, and then we do hit a head-on wind, and we'll have to be tacking up against. Yeah, but that may change quite a bit. So basically, what to be done here is to get out of the Bay of Genoa, the Ionian Sea. The Ionian Sea further down. This is, I can't remember, doesn't matter. Anyway, the Bay of Genoa, as quickly as possible, so that we can get into the stronger headwinds. Yes, we'll be tacking all the way out until we are due west of Corsica, and then that is where we enter this area of changing winds, where we're just going to have to watch very, very carefully the way things develop and whereabouts it's turning in a more profitable angle for us. What is definitely clear is that we do not go too far out towards Sardinia. We have to stay further in the center, just outside of the Bay of the Camargue here, because that is where the wind is already starting to funnel out of this bay. And that should then carry us out slowly, but it will, towards the western flank of Minorca and Majorca. Yeah, so that's all from me so far. If you have any questions, don't hesitate and write to me or ask me. And yeah, we'll take it from there, and hope to see you at the start in just about 2.5 hours. Right then, goodbye. Can't stop it.